When people think about the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, the first thing that comes to mind is the massive roadway stretching along the Atlantic coastline. But beyond the pavements lies another equally important part of the project: the elevated structures, the flyovers, the interchanges, the underpasses, and the great separated crossings that will ultimately determine how traffic flows along this corridor. As paving works on Section 1 approach completion, construction activities are increasingly shifting towards these critical structures. Some are already taking shape, some are at foundation stage, some have reached beam installation, and in few locations there are strong indications that future structures may still emerge. So today we are traveling from Victoria Island all the way to Eleko to examine every elevated structure either under construction, completed, or potentially planned along Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gbolahan and today I am back on the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. In today's video, we are actually going to different locations, about 9 or 10 different locations on the Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, where I'll be showing you the ongoing construction of the elevated structures. Some are still ongoing, some are just places where personally I feel there should be an elevated structures. Some are places that the elevated structures have completed. Along the line, we'll see the level of construction achieved so far on those elevated structures. In some of those locations, I've actually covered what the progress report was like initially a few months ago, but today I'll be going back there to see the level of work achieved so far, to see in some of those locations if work have started, construction have started or not yet. So guys, come along as I take you on this journey with me to see the elevated structures on the Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway coming in from Ahmadu Bello all the way to Eleko Junction. Our first stop is Marwa. This is one of the most important connection points on the entire corridor. Here, traffic from the Lekki-Epe Expressway will eventually be able to connect seamlessly with the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. In reality, what we are seeing here is not just one structure. There are actually two elevated structures currently under construction within this axis. The first structure is designed to connect traffic coming from Marwa and the Lekki-Epe Expressway directly onto the coastal highway. This interchange will play a major role in distributing traffic entering and exiting Victoria Island and Lekki. One of the most visible signs of progress here is the completed ramp embankments. The ascending and descending sections of the interchange have already taken shape. Several supporting piers are also in place and ready for the next phase of construction. Once completed, this structure will eliminate the need for conflicting traffic movement at ground level and improve traffic flow significantly. Just a short distance away, opposite Blue Water Towers, we encounter the second elevated structure currently under construction. This structure forms part of the larger interchange system being developed within this corridor. At the moment, significant progress can already be seen on the ramp sections. Foundation works continue beneath the structure while preparations advance for future pier and deck construction. Although still in the early stages compared to some of the structures we will see later in this video, the scale of the project is already becoming apparent. From Marwa, we move eastwards towards Elegushi. The last time I visited this location, construction activities were only beginning to gather momentum. Today, the difference is remarkable. One of the most noticeable developments is the completion of the ascending and descending ramp sections on both sides of the highway. These ramps now clearly define how vehicles will eventually enter and exit the interchange. Supporting piers construction is also progressing steadily. This is usually one of the most important phases because the piers will ultimately carry the bridge structure itself. What makes this location particularly interesting is how quickly visible progress has occurred over a relatively short period of time. Compared to previous visits, the project has evolved from basic earthworks into a clearly identifiable interchange. Our next stop is Jakande. This location has consistently been one of the most active elevated structure sites along Section 1. Construction here began relatively earlier, shortly after work was rounding up on the new road underpass. And today, Jakande is among the most advanced interchange projects currently under construction. The project has now moved beyond foundation works and piers construction. It has entered the superstructure phase. For viewers unfamiliar with construction terminology, this essentially means work has progressed to the stage where the actual bridge structure is now being assembled. The supporting piers are already complete, and perhaps the most exciting development is the ongoing beam installation. Large bridge beams can now be seen stretching across multiple sections of the interchange. This is usually one of the clearest indicators that a flyover is beginning to take its final shape. Among all the structure currently under construction, Jakande is certainly one that construction stage has advanced more. Before moving further east, let's briefly revisit New Road. This location holds a special distinction. It is currently the first completed elevated traffic structure on the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Unlike the flyovers and interchanges we've examined so far, the solution here takes the form of an underpass. Traffic using the coastal highway continues uninterrupted while local traffic accesses surrounding communities through the lower level crossing. The structure is already operational and open to motorists. More importantly, it provides a practical demonstration of how traffic separation can significantly improve safety and efficiency along the corridor. Our next location is the open beach area directly opposite Orchid Road. At the moment, motorists are using a temporary access arrangement to connect between Orchid Road and the highway. But this temporary arrangement will eventually be replaced by a permanent elevated structure currently under construction. Once completed, the interchange will provide a much smoother connection between the coastal highway, Orchid Road, the open beach area, and nearby communities. Construction here remains in its early stages. Most visible activities are concentrated around foundation works. Piling operations are ongoing, indicating that the project is still establishing the structural base required to support the future flyover. Although there isn't much visible above ground yet, this stage is often one of the most important phases of construction. Next, we arrive at one of the most interesting locations along the corridor, the Okun-Ajah and Ogombo axis. Unlike previous locations, there is currently no visible construction activity for an elevated structure here. However, this is arguably one of the strongest candidates for future intervention. This junction connects two important communities separated by the highway corridor. Okun-Ajah sits on one side, Ogombo Road sits on the other. And as traffic volumes continue increasing, crossing movements here are becoming increasingly challenging. As we can see from the footage, traffic movement are already being interrupted. Vehicles frequently need to navigate across multiple lanes accessing the opposite side. From a traffic management perspective, this creates a potential conflict point. Whether through a flyover, underpasses, or some other form of grade separation, many observers believe this location may eventually require a more permanent solution. From Okun-Ajah, we proceed to Sangotedo, another busy intersection that continues to experience significant growth. The last time I visited this location, there was little visible evidence of interchange construction. Today, that has changed. Construction activities are now clearly visible. Although the project remains at foundation stage, this marks an important step forward. As development expands across the Sangotedo corridor, the need for efficient traffic management infrastructure will only increase. The decision to begin work here reflects the strategic importance of this location within the broader transportation network. Our next stop is Eko Akete. Unlike some of the previous intersections we've examined, traffic volumes here are currently lower. However, that may not remain the case for long. The surrounding area continues to develop rapidly, and based on the available right-of-way and visible setbacks, there are indications that provisions may have been made for future elevated structure. At the moment, no active construction is visible, but considering the long-term growth projections for this corridor, this is certainly a location worth monitoring. Our final stop takes us to Eleko. This is perhaps one of the most strategic elevated structures currently under construction along the entire corridor. The Eleko Flyover will serve as the connection point between Section 1 and Section 2 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Construction here has advanced significantly. Bridge spans are already visible, supporting structures have largely been completed, and the overall form of the flyover is becoming increasingly apparent. We've examined this project extensively in a previous update, so I won't go into much detail today. But it is safe to say that the Eleko Flyover is rapidly emerging as one of the defining structures of the entire Coastal Highway project. From Victoria Island to Eleko, the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway is gradually evolving into far more than a road project. What we are seeing is the development of a fully integrated transportation corridor. One structure is already completed, others are advancing rapidly, and a few locations may still see future interventions as traffic demands continue to grow. Together, these flyovers, interchanges, and underpasses will ultimately determine how efficient people and goods move along this corridor for decades to come. As construction progresses, we will continue tracking every major development across the project. If you enjoyed this comprehensive update, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which of these structures you think will have the biggest impact once completed. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next updates.